So we actually.
Okay. We have. Gonna call this meeting back to order. Time now being six. Perry, making noise again.
Well, I was just telling these guys to be quiet.
Sure. Okay, the time now being 6:08. I'm looking for a motion to reconvene in the open session. Councilor Morrison, Councilor Deal. All those in favor? Carried. Reporting out, council went into closed session to discuss a matter in relation to employee matters. The land acknowledgement is that we would like to acknowledge that the land we stand upon today is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and the neutral peoples. The next is the confirmation of agenda. Need a mover or seconder for that? Councillor Willoughby and Councillor Newell. That the agenda for the regular meeting of council dated May 21st, 2024 be adopted as seconded. Comments or questions? All those in favor? That will be carried. I'm going to ask for declaration of community interest. Councillor Morrison.
8.2, I'm one of the groups that's listed in the accounts payable report.
Very good. Thanks. Noted. Anybody else? I'd like to declare one under accounts payable under 8.2 as well. Reason for disclosure, I repaired a public works vehicle and received payment for that. And check number 7744. And when we get to that, I'll be asking Councillor Chartrand to take over. Any other comments to do with that? Next we need to look for a motion or mover or second to adopt the minutes of the two past meetings on May the 7th, both the regular and the public meeting. Councillor Deal and Councillor Steckler. The Council of Municipality here needs to approve the following council meeting minutes as circulated, the regular meeting on May 7th, 2024, and the public hearing held on May 7th, 2024. Any comments or questions arising from them minutes? Not all those in favor? That would be carried. I'm going to ask Councillor Chartrand to take over as chair for item numbers 8.2 and accounts payable due to a conflict.
Okay, so we've all had time to review the accounts payable. Is there any comments or questions about the accounts? If not, then I need a motion that item 8.2 accounts payable report from the consent agenda be received for information and approved. Diane, John, all in favor? Carried. Turn it back to the chair.
Thank you. Are there any requests to remove any other items from the consent agenda you have in front of you? Councillor Willoughby.
I'd just like to talk about 8.1, Huron County Library. There's a significant donation from the McCall-McBain Foundation. I'd just like to recognize that Marcy McCall was a McKillop resident, and I just want to recognize that we appreciate this donation to Huron County because it's nice that she remembers her roots. And even though it's a big foundation, I still think that it's important to point that out.
Okay, for sure. It's good news whenever you got it like that, Gloria. So good for pointing that out. Anybody have anything else then? You certainly noticed at the county as well when that came up, so that's good. So I need a mover or seconder to deal with the consent agenda then. Councillor Deal and Councillor Chartrand. That the consent agenda items 8.1 and 8.3 be received for information and approved. 8.1 being the Huron County Library 2023 annual report, and 8.3 being the Solicitor General Community Safety and Policing Act 2019. Comments or questions on that? All those in favor? Be carried. Thank you very much. Public meetings, hearings, and delegations, we have nothing tonight. Planning, we have a planning report, consent number C24 2024. I believe Shay is joining us by Zoom. Welcome, Shay.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'll just pull up my slides here. Just let me know if you have any issues seeing it. Can you see that okay?
Yep, that looks good.
Perfect. So this is just a brief presentation on consent C24 2024. It applies to 40273 Walnut Road in Tuckersmith, and the applicant and owner is Tom Bender. So just an aerial photo of the subject property here. The blue is the severed parcel and orange is the retained parcel. So we've got frontage on both Walnut Road and Morrison Line. The purpose of the application here is for the recreation of the original farm lots. The two parcels have inadvertently merged on title. So the severed land is approximately 52 acres of vacant farmland, and the retained is approximately 102 acres containing a dwelling and farmland. So the property is zoned AG1 and NE2 in the Huron East bylaw and designated agriculture and natural environment in the Huron East official plan. The application meets all of the official plan policies for agricultural severances. Okay, both parcels will meet the minimum lot size, and no concerns were received from staff or any other agencies. So as the application is consistent with the PPS and conforms with the Huron County and Huron East official plans and complies with this Huron East zoning bylaw, it's recommended that application C 2024 is recommended for approval with conditions. And I'm here for any questions on that.
Thank you, Shay. Any questions from council? Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Shea, please, if Mr. Bender decides to sell the 52 acres off to someone, would they be allowed to build a home on that?
There is an abutting dairy barn that would constrain the location, but there is a suitable location outside of that they would potentially be able to build a home.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Anybody, do we ask the general public tonight?
Not no consent applications. No, this is not a public meeting.
All right. No other questions? Thank you very much, Shay, for zooming in and walking us through this. That's all we need.
There is a motion, just
Okay.
that we do accept the consent application.
All right, so we're looking for a mover or second to accept this. Councillor Deal and Councillor McGrath. The Council of Municipality of Huron East acknowledge the report of Huron County Planner Shay Stoll dated May 21st, 2024, and has no objections to the consent application C 2024, provided the conditions as outlined in the report are met. Comments or questions on that? All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Shay.
Okay, thank you.
Your back stand for a moment.
Yes, she does that.
Oh, Shay.
There's 10.2.
Oh, sorry about that. Need to read it. Shay, you're up again, speaking with the housing population projections.
Great, thank you. So, yeah, I'll be brief with this one. This is just a follow-up report on the Huron East specifics from the Watson's population and housing projections report that was recently circulated. So I've included in this report just some of the ways that this information can be used by Huron East as it pertains to various service delivery areas. Kind of the highlight of it is that Huron East is likely to see an increase of about 1,400 households within the next 30-year period, and that works out to be about 49 units a year anticipated growth. So we're going to start seeing a shift from mainly single detached developments, as we've typically seen throughout the municipality, to more of a need for medium and higher density builds, particularly need for higher density builds that are more affordable and geared towards seniors and young working professionals. We're also going to see more of a push for rental units moving forward, as a great deal of the population in this market is unable to afford home ownership. Particularly important to note that it's projected that the majority of households able to afford low density dwellings that we've typically seen around the area will need a household income of over $150,000. And throughout the county, it's projected that 46% of new housing units will serve households with an income of less than $100,000 a year. So just echoing the need for the shift in development form and type throughout the county, but particularly here in East. And then as far as where this growth is anticipated to occur, so we're still going to be directing this growth towards service settlement areas and continue to see future applications for multi-unit housing approvals, including apartments, row houses, etc. And this is in line with many of the recent applications we've had in Seaforth. Also important to understand the infrastructure planning and expansion, including wastewater, water, and landfill capacity that will kind of result from this shift in growth. So it'll be important to closely monitor this and make sure that it's in line with the growth that we're seeing. And then as far as school board projections and childcare needs, the results of this report are also helpful in informing these needs, so we can anticipate the number of spaces needed and prepare for expansions where it's necessary. And then as far as economic development, the planning department will continue to work closely with the economic development departments in the municipalities in planning for this growth. Two key themes are relevant from this report, so seniors and welcoming newcomers. So these two demographic shifts will have unique needs for service delivery demands and models where services may need to shift to accommodate these populations, such as with recreation programs and needs for transportation. And then lastly, parks and recreation will also be an important factor as we see the shift to more high density development, where it'll be important to be intentional and effective with access to parks and public spaces. So generally, this Watson's report demonstrates the need for intentional future growth planning and being proactive to these anticipated changes. Huron East has recently adopted both a community improvement plan and the strategic action plan, which both have a focus on the need for supporting more affordable housing. So it's evident that the municipality recognizes the importance of supporting housing initiatives and preparing for growth. And the planning department will continue to work closely with Huron East in planning for this in the future. So that kind of summarizes that report. If there's any questions on that, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Shane. Any questions? Councillor Chartrand?
Not sure if it's directed to Shay or to Bradley, with the province pushing the number of housings that they are. We're gonna be getting to the point pretty soon where our sewage treatment plant won't be able to take on much more new growth. So I'm hoping the government's gonna come forward with some money to help upgrade that system so that we have room for new growth for housing, because within 5 or 10 years, we're gonna be out of capacity at our sewage waste treatment plant here in Seaford. And I'm not sure of the numbers out in Brussels, but where's the province on that?
I can certainly answer that.
Yeah, sure, Brad.
Yeah, so, the province has sort of brought what they call a housing funding. I can't remember what exactly was enabling housing, enabling housing fund. We did apply to it for expansion of our wastewater treatment plant. What it was probably a month ago, we applied, so it'll be probably at least a couple more months before we hear. But
Should we be reaching out to our MPPs and MPs and helping that push? Because if they want growth, and then we have to have some money to be able to do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely correct, and that's the truth across the province. The reality is the amount of money that was put forward there, when you start distributing it between municipalities at a 444, municipalities in Ontario, you start divvying that fund up, doesn't leave a lot left, so there's gonna be very few winners and a lot of losers.
Seems like the bigger towns are getting,
Yeah.
the cities are getting the money.
But the study that Shay spoke to is, key to setting the parameters for justification of what we need. So whether it's this fund or the next one that rolls out, we'll certainly be constantly searching for those opportunities. Forget the numbers, it was a fairly significant expenditure for that upgrade.
Any other questions around the table? Councillor Fisher?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Shay, please. Shay, the 4,000 people that we're gonna get in 30 years roughly. Any examples of demographic or when to expect the most growth, et cetera?
Yeah, so certainly senior populations, the report highlighted that we're going to continue to see that growth in senior populations, so over 65. And then also younger families too, moving in the area. So those two are kind of the key drivers, I think, of the expected growth.
And is it imminent growth or just gradual?
Fairly gradual. I mean, I think we'll see it kind of in drips and drabs. Probably 1 year we may experience more growth. but fairly gradual over that next 30-year period. So we do have time to kind of get prepared for that change.
Thank you.
Any other questions around the table? Seeing none, looks like we're good. Thank you, Shay, for the report. It was very thorough, so it was, and kind of eye-opening a little bit as well. So see from jumping for 14 houses on average per year to 49 is quite a jump. So it is. So thank you very much again. Hopefully you get feeling better soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We don't need a motion for that.
No, that was just for information.
Okay. Now we're down to reports and recommendations of municipal officers. Cyril, well, you're up first, please.
Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, here we are, just starting to come into the throes of summer, and I'm talking about Christmas, but the only reason why I bring this report earlier is just so that staff can make the appropriate arrangements with their vacation allotment. So Christmas, Boxing Day kind of lands in the middle of the week this year. So we're just trying to coordinate what days the municipal office would be closed, that being the December 27th, December 27th, and then December 31st. So just hoping for council to support that and have to answer any questions.
Any questions on that? If not, I've got a motion here for that. I'll read it and then I'm looking for a mover and seconder on the other side of it. That the council municipality of Huron East recognize Christmas and Boxing Day statutory holidays on December 25th and December 26th, 2024 respectively. And that New Year's Eve Day statutory holiday be recognized on January 1st, 2025. And further, that the municipal office be closed December 27th to December 30th to December 31st, 2024. The affected staff using vacation or bank time for these days. Everybody understand that? You need a mover or seconder, Councillor Chartrand and Councillor Morrison. Comments or questions? All those in favor? That would be carried. Thank you. Next one, Brad, I'll leave you at the end.
Yeah, so thanks to Mr. Patton, he's still here if there are any specific questions. The council did approve a budget. We were looking to get a breathing apparatus air compressor filling station for Seaport. The other two stations had one compatible. So Brad was fortunate enough that he was going to the Toronto Fire Trade Show. And he was able to, deal with all the different vendors, and he got us 3 good quotes from three suppliers. He's recommending Fire Check Protection Services be selected for it, and he's had lots of consultations with the fire service and the fire chiefs and district chiefs on that, and that meets our budget requirement. So pretty darn close to it, and just a smidge over, which we might need a little bit of the surplus from the SCBA equipment as well anyway, but not that much. So pretty good shape. Mr. Patton will be best to answer any questions you might have on specifics.
Any comments or questions? I'll read the motion and that comes to the staff.
Yeah, did we have any of our firefighters go to the trade show or to any of our chiefs or?
I had several contact me about getting tickets, so I knew a lot of the vendors there. I was able to send them information on how to get free tickets. What transpired after that, I don't know.
Thank you. I'll read the motion, then look for a mover seconder on the other side. That the council municipality of Huron support staff recommendation to purchase a breathing air compressor system fill station from Fire Check Protection Services, Inc. for the amount of $54,815.69 plus applicable HST. Remover and a seconder on that motion. Councillor Willoughby and Councillor Dalton. Comments or questions on that? All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Next is community service, Lisa. Lisa, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks, how are you? Okay, so I have one report just for recommendation to submit an application to the Ontario Inclusive Community Grant application. This grant application is is almost like a backup plan for the Ontario Trail grant application. So it's for the same project for the Vanastra Park, the development of it. The only thing is that the OTF, we don't hear about it until August. So, and the application deadline for this is tomorrow. So if we miss the vote on that, we miss the vote on this. So it's just a backup application. It would be a revised project though, because they don't have as much funds that you can apply for. So it is for a $75,000 project versus the 100,000 for the OTF. So.
Good job. Comments or questions of Lisa? Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Lisa, if we don't get the Trillium and we get this one you're mentioning, would you do this project in 2 stages or would it just be a smaller project done once?
Most definitely, we can do it in 2 stages for the first piece. And then later on, if there's other grant opportunities, we can always apply for other grants to offset what we weren't able to do in the first project design, and we can just apply for more funding for another time.
Thank you.
Any other questions on Lisa's report? Not, I'll read the motion, look for mover second report. That the council of the municipality of Huron East approve the submission of an application to the Ontario government for request financial support to create an accessible, safe and active park for all ages and abilities. Mover and second, Councillor Newell and Councillor Fisher. Comments or questions on that? All those in favor? That would be carried. Thank you very much. Lisa, look like you're up again.
So this is a report for council to accept a tender to purchase a 3/4 ton pickup truck from Robinson Chevrolet in the amount of $63,302. This is a approved budgeted item in the 2024 budget, and it is to replace the truck for the community services department to pull a trailer around in the summertime for the lawnmowers. So, and it's to replace the one truck that was,
Deemed unsafe.
yes, that did not pass the safety.
Comments or questions for Lisa on this report? Councillor Dalton.
Is this a diesel? It doesn't,
No, it is not a diesel. It is a gas.
thought the price maybe was.
Okay, Councillor McGrath.
Why a 3/4 ton versus half ton, I guess is the question. It says, is the tender going with now? 3/4 ton trucks instead of half tons?
It's to put a water tank on it as well to water flowers.
Okay,
And
that makes sense then.
Yeah.
I just
Councillor Newell.
thought you wanted a bigger toy.
Councillor Newell.
Anytime.
Sorry, I have one more.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit, but I was accosted at the post office because the lady wants to play shuffleboard at the Reed. Wondering when the floor will be painted. So can you look into that, please? And they're sick of going to Hansel wherever they're going. I mean, it's a silly topic, but it's important to her.
Yeah, I've been in communication with the shuffleboard
Yeah,
players,
okay, I did.
and we're just trying to find the right solution. So, for painting them.
Hope you find it quick.
Okay, that's it, Larry?
Yeah.
Councillor Newell, I'm ready.
Just $100 comment. I think it's 63,302 is what the recommendation is, but the price is 63,202 listed below, so. I don't know what that means. We're up 100 of them.
Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. Visit.
It could be something,
It's probably just.
Yeah, really have a quote, so.
Lisa, how, you said in your report you had 4 tenders received, but only 2 are on your report.
Yeah, only 2 tenders met the requirements of the tender. So the other ones, one was for a factory order, which we didn't want, and the other one was for, it was a diesel pickup truck, a lot larger. And it is 63,202.
2,202, you said,
Yeah,
instead of 302.
that's right.
Any other questions on Lisa? Otherwise, I'll read the motion for mover second. That the council of municipality of Huron East accept the tender of Robinson Chev for the amount of $63,202 plus applicable taxes for on a 3/4 ton pickup truck. For mover and seconder, Councillor Newell and Councillor Chartrand. Any other questions for Lisa? All those in favor? That's carried. Well, it's good, Lisa, you also got a local dealership to bid on it too, so that was great.
Yeah.
All right, next one up is welcome, Barry. How are you doing?
I do. So we're talking about Hensel Road and reducing the speed limit. We had a delegation come in and present a proposal to lower the speed limit along Hensel Road between Front Road and Tile Road. And this is basically from residents of the Heritage Estates that abuts this road allowance. And then council directed us to prepare a report and come back with some comments. So basically, posted speed limits are, I might just kind of brief through it a bit, and then if you have questions, we'll go ahead. But basically, the speed drivers of the appropriate speed at which to navigate sections of road safely is enhanced through credibility of posted speed limits to match the existing expectation of drivers and given roadways, its roadway and its surrounding area. The speed on a roadway needs to be set in comparison to the traffic counts of the said roadway by using comparative data. So pursuant to the Highway Traffic Act, you have default traffic speeds in rural area, urban, semi-urban, rural areas of 50 and 80 kilometers. And then if the default speed is changed or lowered or more likely lowered, then the council has the ability to do so, but through bylaw outside to regulate that speed and then it'd be posted. Speed limit signs and artificial, I should stick to the script maybe. Artificial high or low posted speed limits have little impact on actual operating speeds and can often result in increased motorist travel time, increased non-compliance, increased driver frustration, decreased roadway capacity. Conversely, when speed limits are appropriate, there's a decrease in speed variance, a reduction in incidents of aggressive driving, increased credibility for the posted speed limit, and achieve sustainable balance between positive and negative conditions. As of January 1st, 2024, the speed limiting measures were taken on the following roads in Huron East. Front Road between Huron number 8 and 5th Avenue and Banastra. Front Road between Pearson Ave and Hensel Road, Eglinton, and Crowder Line in Gray Township. Just to summarize the next paragraph, those road speed limits were reduced to align our level of service to a class 4 road. Currently, those roads have 100 or 1,000 vehicles per day average on those roads, and as such is class them as a class 3, which created a higher level of service than the other roads in the municipality. Hensel Road is a 2-kilometer stretch between Front and Tile Road, with stop signs at each intersection, and as of the reporting date, there's no evidence of notable increased accidents along the section of road. This was checked through the fire department records back, I believe, 15 years. Further traffic data for Hensel Road was collected on July 19 or 2019 and May 2024, revealing an average speed between 68 and 90 kilometers per hour. Following table illustrates traffic volumes and average speeds measured on Hensel Road, both north and south of the specific stretch of road under consideration. So we'll note that in the chart, you'll have front to Tile Road, July 2019, with the traffic count of 399 vehicles. That was be attributed probably to the construction of Main Street. And then you see the average traffic flow now is only 175 kilometers or 175 vehicles per day, with an average speed between 86.9 and 90 kilometers per hour, as noted. In response to the public's concern regarding the existing speed limit along Hensel Road from Front to Tile, staff are of the opinion that no alteration is warranted at this time. However, should council desire to delve into potential adjustment to the posted speed limit, engineered traffic and speed study of the road segment should be conducted to ascertain the appropriate course of action. Maybe just other notes, if you do decide to take some action on this, you'll no doubt get other areas within the municipality where traffic volumes are very low. For instance, Beechwood line I was on today, and there was 3 people walking down Beechwood Road, which probably has to have traffic count about the same. You would be inundated with a lot more of these requests. That's kind of a side note outside of the report. So at this time, I'm just the staff recommendation is that we leave the default at the speed limit at 80 kilometers an hour.
Questions from council? Councillor Stafford.
Just for your chart there, Barry, July 2019, was that for the full month period or was that a 1 week reporting period in July of 19?
That would be over usually about a 6 or 7 day period.
Thank you. So it's comparable to the same time frame.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councillor McGrath.
I think we're gonna have a tough time justifying dropping the speed limit of the road to Hansel Road. And not fast part. I think we're gonna explain that to the ratepayers of the trailer park if they've noticed it, because we dropped that because of road or whatever the reasons we're given, but now these people come up to us with legitimate concern saying we walk on with the dog, kids get bicycles and stuff like that, and I mean, here, cut that down to 50, but they can turn on ours and get it right up to 80 kilometers an hour. I think we should be consistent with a few things.
Barry?
The reason the speed limit was lowered from Hansel Road towards Egmontville was because of the over 1,000 vehicles per day average, which increases the level of service on one specific area of road. And therefore, it would probably have an increased impact on our ability to provide the service to that level to just that one stretch of road. And on Hansel Road, Hansel Road is broken up with stop signs for each 2 kilometer segments. So with Heritage Estates being located closer to the southern stop sign, so by the time you get into that area, you should be noticing the stop sign and slowing down. The actual counter and speed sign, I don't know if I mentioned the speed sign was put up, but the counters were placed at mid-block, not right in front of a stop sign or not back. So you've got, I say, fairly accurate picture of what traffic flow is there.
I still say it's hard to justify dropping the roads where nobody asked for it to 50. And that other one, somebody has asked for it. But however, I guess that's the wish of council. Then what are the, well, of course, see, they want the whole road at 50. I get it too, because you're not understanding, but I'm just one vote of the bunch, so
Thanks.
that's my comment.
Thank you. I think Councillor Fisher was.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Mr. Mills, why would you say you would need an engineer to study the road, not just make a decision ourselves?
Well, we are trying to make a decision based on the information provided, but if you're going to start lowering the speed limit in one particular case because of one person or maybe 4 or 5 people, you're going to be inundated, I would think, on requests on a lot of other rural roads within the municipality. Just true justification for lowering speed limits should come through a consultant.
Not population density or whatever, say that community, that small community has 40 units and 3 in each 100 people that are impacted there.
Well, no doubt of that, 175 vehicles a day, probably their traffic flow accounts for maybe.
Some of them, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna guess at how many.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Chartrand, I think you had your hand there.
Yeah, I've had a number of calls today actually, because they read the minutes online, and it's kind of a unique situation because it is kind of a small urban area on a rural road. Their concern is that the the gravel on either side of the road, called the walking area, is very, very limited and narrow. And you're right, Larry, they brought up the fact that you lower the speed on Front Road to 50. We want it lowered here as well, but not because they did it there, it's because they had a safety concern while walking their dogs and their kids on bicycles on Hensel Road. I get that. We don't have to have that study. If we as council want to make a decision to change that, we can do that here tonight without having that engineering report. Correct? It's a decision of council. I've driven through other communities where you'll go from 80 to 60 to maybe 40 as you're getting closer to a school area or whatever. So it's not uncommon. It's just, it's a little uncommon on a rural road here, a rural road out here. But the fact that there's a small community between Tile Road and Front Road is a little different.
Councilor McGrath.
I don't know if you'd be inundated with lower speeds all over the place because, you know, Roxborough, as an example, has 15 residents. Heritage Estates has a lot more than 15 residents that would use that road, so it's a community in there. So, yeah, I would, not that I want to drive 50 kilometers an hour down that road. Not that I likely would follow the rules of all the other road. However, I don't see that more to 50. As Ray says, this council could make the decision.
Barry.
Yeah, this staff's recommendation against it, but there are several other road allowances out there within the rural area. But I can see that you would be getting calls pretty quick. One name them.
Probably all know of one or two. Yeah, any other comment? Do you have enough information that make a decision on? Just question to Barry. So Barry, would you just need, you said this Heritage Estates is close to the one stop sign. So would you just need a change of speed going into it? Not so much going the other way? Just picking up speed coming out of there?
I think if you go for a walk, you go for a walk, and I think, you know, as a pedestrian too, you have an obligation to pay attention to your surroundings as well. So, you know, the people I met today, they were walking against the traffic flow, and you know, certain precautions on your own have to be undertaken as well.
Councilor McGrath again?
I would have no problem with the recommendation other than the fact that Front Road is 50 kilometers an hour. And I get the reason, however, it's still hard for me to justify it like that versus that.
Okay. Councilor Chartrand.
Just so everyone understands, so what Larry's talking about is if you're heading north on Hensel Road, leaving the trailer park, your first road you're gonna hit is Front Road. So between Tile and Front Road, when you hit the Front Road, it's 50 there now, right?
60, I'd say.
Or 60. It used to be 80. So they want from Tile Road, from that stop sign to Front Road, that stop sign to be 50, which will just about match when they get to the stop sign on Front Road, which is 60. So I'll make a motion that we lower the speed from 80 to 50 kilometers from Tile Road to Front Road.
That's from McGrath. Comments from Barry?
That is staff's recommendation that if you do that, that you engage a consultant for the rest of the municipality.
Comments?
We are the consultant.
So we're going to suggest. No, I'm just looking for Barry. So moving forward, if this motion is passed, and what's your procedure? You have to go, then you have to prepare a bylaw, then you come back to council before.
Yes.
Anyway, right? So it's something to go tomorrow, but the signs up.
No, it's specifically good tomorrow, not until the bylaw is passed, if there is going to be a bylaw.
For sure. Okay. So is council good with that? You heard the recommendation from Councillor Chartrand that we change the speed limit. Larry seconded, and Larry seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? That is defeated. So it is. That's fine. 3 in favor. So we're just going to, we don't need to do anything more with this.
Nope.
At this point here. If the ratepayers want to speak to us, again, for sure, so. That is done. Okay, thank you very much, Barry, for your report. Thank you. We're down to correspondence. We have a letter there from Maureen Agar regarding the 2024 Main Street Summerfest road closure request. You read it, was in your package. Any comments on that? Read the motion and then look for a mover and the seconder on the other side. That the council of the municipality of Huron East approve the temporary closure of County Road 12 and Union Lock Street, Seaforth, on July 27, 2024 for the Seaforth BIA's annual Main Street Summerfest. The mover and the seconder for that. Councillor Dalton, Councillor Fisher. Any other questions? All those in favor? That is carried. Very much. Oh, sorry, and I guess I didn't read it all, and that the Main Street Summerfest was declared as a municipal sanctioned event. So that's not that motion, so. 13.2, a letter there from Pam Zeusen, is it something like that, regarding the Seaforth Agriculture Society 2024 grant funding. Any comments on that? Everybody read it? Good with that. Do we need to respond to that at all, Jessica, or not? No.
No, but it was received for information and there was no direct request except for that you consider the reallocation. It's
Okay.
all based off of what council's decision is.
Okay, all right. Sure. Any questions?
We already dealt this in the budget when we did the grant, so.
Yep. Yeah. Right, so then we're down to for information, 13.3. Huron County Public Health and Huron County Pride regarding the Pride flag raising requests. Any comments on that? There's a motion there. I read it. We can have comments on the other side. I'm looking for a mover and seconder. That the municipality, the council of municipality of Huron East declare the month of June as Pride Month, and the council agreed to the raising of the rainbow flag, Pride flag for the month of June. We move in a seconder for that motion. Councillor Willoughby and Councillor Stecker. Any comments or questions on this motion? None, all those in favor? That would be carried. Thank you very much. We're down to unfinished business. There is nothing council reports. As far as county council, last meeting we had was on May the 8th. James Groniak, the Chief Development Officer and Executive Vice President from Bruce Power was there. Give us an update on Bruce Power, Bruce Nuclear, I should say. Some of the principles they work off of, they're looking to extend the life of the 8 operating reactors right now, or units, through 2064. They're trying to increase the net peak output up to 7,000 megawatts. And they're pursuing an impact and assessment to possibly adding another 4,800 new megawatts. Said that both the Canadian and provincial governments have invested something like 600 million or something into this part of the assessment to see if there's room on the site to add this kind of power to it. So, and also, of course, very popular, they're trying to lead the way in nuclear medicine, producing medical isotopes. In planning, the Four Winds Barn consent passed, and that was about it. So from our last meeting. And there are other boards, committees, and meetings and seminars. Anybody from council? Brad has something he'd like to speak to.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. So Jessica, I had the opportunity to attend the Ontario Municipal Administrators Association spring workshop. I just kind of wanted to give a couple highlights there. So it was great that Jess was able to come with me. Gives her the opportunity to kind of start getting familiar with the role of the CAO. So our succession plan at work. one of the conversations was actually Dan Matheson, who used to be, some of you will remember him, was the mayor of Stratford. So he spoke a little bit about what happened during their cyber attack incident. So really it was mostly about talking about being prepared and having a plan as how that's gonna go about and how you're gonna handle that. So keynote and takeaway for me was that. We did have a conversation with IESO in terms of, and they're the ones that are promoting sort of the bid process to enhance it over the next course of years. I did speak to them in terms of the battery storage facility and how it was received in Huron East, and that I spoke to her in terms of making sure those proponents understand some of the key issues that were being raised at that session that we attended, so I can provide that feedback. There was a conversation, Bruce Peaver was, you'll remember Bruce, Mr. Peaver, he was from KPMG, he was presenting service delivery reviews. So he provided a bit of a, what we'll call, some of you might remember David Letterman. We're all dating ourselves, maybe a bit, but the top 10, David Letterman's top 10. So he did a bit of a tongue-in-cheek approach to it. So I'll share some of that, maybe through an email with council in terms of some of those points I don't remember them off the top of my head. The next day we had a conversation, Dr. Lisa Belanger was there presenting. She was a keynote speaker, talking about leading from the edge, and I wrote a few notes down that I took away. When you're having conversations, people, and you're trying to have discussions, one of the ways in terms of leadership is instead of, if you're trying to get people to give you input, ask the question, tell me why I'm wrong. So invite dissent. She talked about work-life balance is a myth. It's a non-reality. It's sort of an oxymoron. What she said is a better word is work-life integration, because there's no such thing as work-life balance because it doesn't balance. Talked about stepping away from work and having sort of that time away. So it's a message for people who like to do the 11 o'clock email, or maybe not 11 o'clock, but the 8 o'clock email to someone and hoping that they won't look at it till the next morning. And then that person looks at it and then stews about it all night long. Has angry sleep, because that's the term I use. So actually said, use email delay, send, right? So the person doesn't get it till you got your thing done, but you don't want them to see it till 8 o'clock in the morning when the office opens up. So things like that. Talks about drains and charges. So what drains and charges different people. And then talk about good thing, bad thing, don't know. Right? So is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or I don't. And so I'll provide a little bit more details on that. John Mascaron, who's our integrity commissioner, was speaking there, and he spoke about a few case examples. Some of them you might have heard during our sort of countywide training programs, but they're always interesting, and John's always a very interesting speaker. And then there was a presentation on a circular food system benefits for municipalities and citizens by Barbara Schwarzentuber. And I think that was a fairly complex and interesting way of how they were dealing with food, and particularly food waste. So kind of that aspect. And then the morning we had a session, brief session with Women of Ontario Say No. So Emily McIntosh is advocating to the province with respect to workplace harassment, where cases where obviously if a supervisor or manager harasses an employee, or any employee harasses another employee, they get terminated. But for whatever reason, when you're sitting at this council table, you're not able to be terminated, you're not able to be taken out of office. So she's advocating for legislation to be in place, that there be a process whereby if a council or a mayor, any member of council, actually has some sort of process where they actually get, removed from office through some judicial process. So that was interesting. And then Sonia Pritchard, the CEO for the County of Dufferin, and Rohan Thompson, Director of People and Equity, provided a pretty in-depth analysis of their process to develop a diverse equity and inclusion plan for Dufferin County, which is really quite interesting and quite complex as to how they approached it. And then last we had Susan Craig, who's also an integrity commissioner, for the city of Vaughan was speaking to some of the issues and the case examples she's dealt with as a integrity commissioner. So overall, it was a good session, lots of takeaways from that. The top 10, both Jessica and I were chuckling as he was presenting it kind of tongue in cheek in terms of some of the challenges that come up in service with reviews. So thank you, Deputy Mayor, for allowing me
Very
to
good.
present that.
Thank you for that report. You enjoy it as well, Jessica?
I did, yes. Thanks for asking.
Any other boards or committee meeting minutes? Councilor Fisher, you.
I'm not sure this is the right spot or not, Deputy Mayor, about, there's a email from AMO about, ministers meetings at, the AMO conference in Ottawa. Just be the right time, or is there another spot?
Well, we do have there is a delegation proposal, just a couple down. You want to wait till then and we can.
Yes, thank you.
Both of that's okay there. Any requests from members tonight? Notice of motions tonight. Announcements. Brad, did you want to speak to the envelope that's on our table, or will you speak with that? Lisa? Invitations for the.
Oh, sorry, yes, I can speak to that.
Okay, I wasn't sure where that came from, but.
Yeah, so this is for the donor appreciation at the BMTC.
Right, yes.
So yeah, so that's on May 29th. And so it'll be, we'll have a more, what I'll call a grand opening, November 16th. They'll hold me on the date, I think that's the timeline, where we'll actually bring all of the ministers that provided funding, our local MVPs, all of that, all the dignitaries will be present for that one. So it'll be great. This was more just to focus on the donors that for the fundraising campaign, because the donor wall will be complete and so they can see it and mingle and look around. And I believe some of the building committee and fundraising committee members will be doing some tours for those that are interested. Want to take a tour around about.
Very good. So just a casual night then is what it is
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah, there'll be a few speakers. There'll be certainly, I think Mr. Mayor himself can't attend. So I think he's asked you to speak for the municipality. So there'll be an opportunity for you to speak, and then I think a couple of key other people with fundraising.
Just one that mentioned that it was there.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Any other questions on that? Not. So then we're down to that 16 under other business 16.1, 2024 association or AMO's delegation proposal. We had one in our council package. Bob, did you want to speak to yours, or was yours part of this?
No, I just thinking today when I was listening to the county growth again, that and Shay mentioned it as well. It was mentioned that we should be looking at our infrastructure. If we should make a delegation to municipal affairs and housing, i.e. that we have far exceeded percentage-wise with Pole and Clues and Trailblazers and Doig and McPherson, our housing growth compared to the large communities, and we never got a penny out of all those funds that the government proposed. If we were to present how our growth has been and the potential growth going forward again with JL property and asking for money.
Okay, any comments, Brad, on something like that?
So certainly we can put together a package, certainly with the documentation we've got from the county and Shay's report, we can put something together for a delegation for them as well, if council wants to support that.
Yeah.
And again, the growth we've had right over 3 years or so, when they've been throwing bagfuls of money at any community of more than 100,000 and they're not performing like we have for growth.
Any other comments of council? Do you think that's worthwhile to put together a package and see if we can get, at this point here, Brad, it's just a request, right? It's not a.
Yeah, we put a request in, and whether or not we get actual delegation or not depends upon whether.
Not
they-
for sure,
It's quite a reasonable, yeah.
this is the first step, so.
Yeah, but I have to have them in by the end of the week, I think, so.
Okay, how's council feel about that? Want to give that a try then? Good idea. Okay. That's enough information, Brad?
That's perfect, yeah, that's all good.
So there was a motion in our package.
Mayor, I just had that more as a motion, just that we are full, that we get full council support. So moved by Councillor Fisher, if we can also second that one for this delegation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Need a second and Councillor Chartrand. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. That's great. Thank you, Jessica. So this other motion was in our council package. Maybe get a chance to read it. I will read it again and then I'll look for a motion. We were in the seconder on the other side. Whereas Health Canada is a federal body that issues licenses for cannabis growing operations in Canada. And whereas these license operations reside within the boundaries of municipalities, but whereas municipalities do not have a direct relationship with the federal government, therefore the municipality of Huron asks for a delegation with the Ontario Minister of Health to advocate that Health Canada undertake regular inspections of federally licensed cannabis operations to ensure compliance with licensing conditions. So moving or seconder for that motion, Councillor Chartrand, Councillor Dean. Any further comments on that? And then again, this is just a request, correct? Okay. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. If nothing else, we're down to bylaws. First, regarding the stop up on temporary stop up of Huron Street. So I'll read the motion that it hereby be resolved that bylaw 43/2024, a bylaw to temporary stop up and close a portion of Main Street, County Road 12 and Gulag Street be given first, second, third, and final reading, signed by the deputy mayor and clerk and the seal of the corporation affixed thereto. We're going to seconder for that. Councillor Willoughby, Councillor Fisher. All those in favor? That's carried. Very much. Next motion, I'll read it again. That hereby be resolved bylaw 44/2024, a bylaw to authorize the signing of a recreation program service agreement with the corporation of the county of Huron be given first, second, third, and final readings, signed by the deputy mayor and clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Mover a seconder for that. Councillor Newell, Councillor Deal. Comments or questions on that? All those in favor? That would be carried. Next, there's a motion here that, or bylaw, that it hereby be resolved that bylaw 45/2024, bylaw to authorize the execution of a lease agreement with Finish Line Fitness Inc. to be given first, second, third, and final readings and signed by the deputy mayor and clerk. The seal of the corporation affixed thereto. Need to move it or seconder, Councillor Newell and Councillor Deal.
Comment?
Yep, certainly. I'm just getting motions and then I was gonna open it up, so. Councillor Deal. So, Councillor Newell, you're on.
Yeah, just under point 3 rent. It indicates that it's $1,204. But then it says 1,004 Canadian dollars. So I just wonder if that's maybe a typo or, yeah, okay.
Councillor Deal, did you have your hand up? You're good. Councillor Chartrand.
So is this for the gym at the Russell's Arena?
Yeah.
And this individual is supplying all of his own equipment?
And it's gonna be open to the public too, Lisa? As well. It will be open to the public to buy memberships
Yes.
to it. Okay. Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I got several questions if I may.
Go ahead.
I don't know where to go with them.
Just fire away.
So the rent, how many square feet is this unit, please?
I just don't have it in front of me. Does anybody know? I'm just looking for.
Yeah, I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay.
Sorry.
The rent seemed very, very cheap to me for all inclusive. Heat, hydro, water, sewer, et cetera, garbage. Yeah, I didn't know if a real estate person was consulted or where the number came from. I'd like to know, please.
Okay.
The other one was, is this 24 hours a day? Did I hear that in the lease?
It's, the tenant is, going to be making it 24-hour access with, a fob system. So they will be on site for some programming and then off site for 24-hour access.
Okay, my concern there is that there is a, if I remember the appendix A, I think it was. There is another exit in case something happens. And that exit goes into the arena proper. So if somebody is there at 3 a.m. and pushes that exit door open and puts a block of wood in and then goes and borrows some alcohol from the other part of the arena or some money that's been left there from a function. And comes back through and pulls the block out and closes the door and goes home and lives happily ever after. Like, is there some control on that?
He said, you have a, you know, that, go ahead.
So, that, exit, that's a secondary emergency exit, so it does have to be there and it will be alarmed. So.
Like
if
an
some-
alarm that rings in somebody's office
uh,
20 minutes away, so everything's done, or?
Same as our other alarm system, so if it goes off, then as, the first contact person is contacted as well as the OPP. And then in addition, through the use of the key fob, the tenant will know who's in there at that time. Going through.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I get done work at the barn. And I wanna go do a workout. Do they know it's me that went in there at 2 a.m, or they just know a client went in there?
No, they know it's you, because it's linked with your key fob, your key fob
Your name.
will,
Key fob says Bob, Picture 105 Giffen Road.
So don't let anybody.
yeah,
Well, that's the next thing.
that is,
You're on
there's
the-
always those possibilities.
Yeah.
So, and then there's also security cameras as well.
There will be security cameras
Yeah, there are security cameras there,
in the gym.
yes. They have a camera, they are, it's all part of, they are installing the camera.
Okay, I didn't hear that in the description. Thank you. And then one more, Mr. Deputy Mayor, if I may, please, the 2 months rent that they are paying up front. Should it say right in that they don't get any interest on that? Because we ran into a trouble with that years ago. It wasn't stated in that lease and we ended up paying rent to paying interest, I'm sorry, interest to a person whose money we were holding for 10 years worth of interest.
That was a security deposit.
Yeah.
Different situation. Your first and last month rent's not a security deposit that you're,
So, but same token,
it still doesn't pay. So there's no interest paid in your first and last month's rent.
that's carved in stone somewhere.
So I think, Lisa, you had to answer to the rate though, I believe, how the rate became involved.
So, we communicated with the single participant that was interested in the gym space. What a fair rental rate was, for them to pay, as well as I contacted a real estate agent on an average of the square footage similar to that. And also I looked into, similar rental space in the community of Brussels, like downtown, how much this community, like a downtown store space with a similar, square footage and what that rate was. So it's very comparable.
Thank you.
Lisa, if I may, was this space advertised or did somebody reach out to you looking for it? Is that how that came about?
Yeah, somebody reached out to us,
Gotcha.
so, but no one else did. And I believe it was not advertised, I would be honest with that, but at the same time, this information has always been available during the project, that there was a gym and they were looking for, like, we're looking for somebody to open it, and this individual has stepped forward and has been interested for a long time, so, and no one else is interested, so
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess-
it takes a unique individual and a good business plan to do so, and this person has that.
Sure. That was my only concern. Excuse me, if we advertise at all or how it came about it, that's all. Yeah. Any other questions on this? Did we get the motion read, did we?
We have a mover and seconder.
Okay, all those in favor of that? Those opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much. Next one, we're down to. I guess we're down to the involuntary bylaws, okay. I need to move in a seconder then for that. Councillor Deal, Councillor Willoughby. Hereby be resolved that bylaw 46 of 2024 bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council be given first, second, third. Final readings signed by the deputy mayor and clerk and sealed appropriation affixed thereto. Comments or questions? All those in favor? That is carried. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Fisher, Councillor McGrath. At the time now being 7:14, the regular meeting is now adjourned until June 4th.